If you spend a lot of time cooking or baking, you eventually learn about the importance of execution. You can have the freshest, best ingredients available. Mess up the steps, however, and you can end up with a grainy curdled meringue or a nasty clump of seized sugar. Now, some of you might be thinking, hey, I came here for a game review, not for you to channel the ghost of Juliet Child. Point taken. Then again, playing Divide reminds me of the times when I find myself standing excitedly in the kitchen with a bunch of excellent ingredients in my hands and plenty of hope in my heart. Then something happens along the way and things don't quite pan out the way I expected them to. That in a nutshell describes my experience with Divide, a game that starts out with plenty of promise but ultimately trips up during its journey. Best described as a twin-stick mystery adventure with an indie feel, Divide chronicles the tale of protagonist David, a single father focused on raising his daughter after the untimely death of his wife. An encounter with a former colleague of said wife, however, makes David realize that the circumstances around his beloved's accidental death aren't exactly as they seem. Soon, David finds himself thrust unknowingly into a dangerous conspiracy as he desperately struggles to survive while also trying to figure out just exactly what happened to his wife. Storytelling is easily the biggest strength of Divide. Key bits of the story are steadily told to the player via in-game events as well as digital records scattered throughout the game. It's something that also works especially well with the contact lens technology David acquires early in the game, which acts like a cool augmented reality type of X-ray vision that lets him see the world in a new light. The look of the game, meanwhile, evokes an XCOM feel from its visual style all the way down to the isometric camera angle. Add some combat and exploration, as well as an excellent soundtrack, and Divide has its share of promising elements for sure. The execution of some key elements, however, end up compromising what should have been a delectable dish. As an old-school gamer who loves classic twin-stick games, I found its rendition in Divide to be a tad unintuitive and cumbersome. Perhaps it's because shooting in this game requires an extra button press from what I'm used to, so I find myself trying to unlearn the twin-stick mechanics I was familiar with. Regardless, this required extra thinking on my part, and I couldn't make decisions quite as fast during shootouts. I also found targeting to be a bit wonky, which proved to be a challenge should I miss, given how David has the sturdiness of wet tissue paper and gets taken down rather quickly unless he stands safe behind a partner. The game's exploration, meanwhile, could also use some tightening and polishing. I don't mind backtracking in my games, for example, provided it's done in a way that makes sense and doesn't feel like a chore. With the game providing the most minimal of directions, however, I often found myself backtracking to areas out of desperation as I try to figure out what to do next. Granted, I don't like it when games hold your hands too much either, so I could live with cryptic exploration. What really kills this aspect of Divide's gameplay, however, are the random bugs that pop up in the course of the game. This includes your AI partner glitching out and at times completely turning invisible. This made exploration stressful because I didn't know if the next event wasn't triggering because I didn't fulfill its requirements or the game was glitching out. Even after downloading the latest patch, I still ran into a glitch where dialogue would loop and repeat. One example involved David muttering, "Looks like I need higher clearance." Not sure how that's going to happen, over and over. Thankfully, I was able to stop it by simply pausing the game. Even with its issues, however, I kept trying to play Divide because I really wanted to see how its story panned out. Yes, I actually found it to be that interesting. Unfortunately, the repetitive exploration and apprehension I felt from fear of bugs soured the overall experience for me. Divide is the kind of game I really wanted to like, as I'm a big fan of these types of titles and indie-style efforts. It just seems like it was taken out of the oven maybe a bit sooner than it should have.